Praise the Lord. Sunday School, Class 7, Lesson 16, After the Division of Israel. So, in this chapter, we are going to see how and why Israel was divided, what was it divided into, and what happened after the division of Israel. The division of Israel. From the time of Joshua, leadership was undertaken by the tribe of Ephraim. But from the time of David, leadership was undertaken by the tribe of Judah. So first leadership was undertaken under the tribe of Ephraim, but later on from the time of David, the leadership was given to the tribe of Judah. Okay, so that is when the tribe of Ephraim and all the northern tribes, including the tribe of Ephraim, started to have an envious approach, or they were jealous of the tribe of Judah. Okay, that was the problem. That was the main problem, or one of the central problems for the division of Israel. So here there was a servant. Solomon had a servant. His name was Jeroboam. So Jeroboam, a servant of Solomon, was from the tribe of Ephraim. Okay, Jeroboam was from the tribe of Ephraim. Jeroboam rebelled against Solomon. But Solomon was so angry, he wanted and planned to kill Jeroboam. Due to the fear, Jeroboam ran away to Egypt. Okay, so Jeroboam rebelled against Solomon. Jeroboam wanted to be the next king. He was a servant of Solomon. He was from the tribe of Ephraim, so he wanted to be the next king. But Solomon was powerful at that time, so he planned on to kill Jeroboam. So due to that fear, Jeroboam ran to Egypt. Therefore, because Jeroboam was not there, all Israel gathered at Shechem to make Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, as the next king. Okay, but when this news reached Jeroboam, he hurried back to Israel. So there are two people over here. First is Rehoboam and second is Jeroboam. The names are a little confusing, so you do not get confused. Jeroboam was a servant of Solomon and Rehoboam was the son of Solomon. Jeroboam was from the tribe of Ephraim and Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, was from the tribe of Judah. Okay, so Jeroboam, the servant of Solomon, wanted to be the next king, but due to the fear of Solomon, he ran away to Egypt. So they planned to make Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, as the next king. But hearing that news, Jeroboam hurried back to Israel. So under the leadership of Jeroboam, collected or made a group of people, and he told the people to go and ask Rehoboam, the next king, to decrease the taxes. Okay, so not now, it's not in a democratic country, but you can say when there was a kingship. During that time, the king used to impose taxes as in how much he liked. Okay, there was no rule, as there was no percentage, there was no rule as to 10% tax or 2% tax. All those things was not there. So the king imposed taxes how much ever he liked. Okay, so Solomon had forced a heavy tax on the people. It was too much. The people were not able to pay. So under the leadership of Jeroboam, all the people went to Rehoboam and they said, okay, fine, you are the next king, you are going to be the next king. So we are asking you to do a favor. Can you please reduce the taxes that your father Solomon had imposed over us? Okay, so they asked Rehoboam to decrease the taxes. What did Rehoboam do? Did he decrease the tax? Let us see. Rehoboam consulted the old and the young. So he had a council of old, experienced people which Solomon had. So those people he went and consulted. So those old people said, yes, Rehoboam, your father had imposed a lot of taxes on the people. So it is better that you decrease those taxes. Okay, so that is what the old told Rehoboam. Then he went and consulted his younger friends. And what did the friends say? no, don't decrease the tax. Your father has imposed taxes, you have to increase it. You should not decrease it. If you decrease it, you will have no money. So you should increase those taxes. Now there are two different opinions. One what the older people has said, and one what the younger friends, his own friends, have said. Now who is Rehoboam going to listen, or whose advice is he going to apply in his life? What do you think? So he took the advice of the younger people, his own friends. And what had the friends said? The friends had said that he should increase the taxes. So he accepted the opinion of the younger people, his own friends, and he followed his friends and doubled the taxes, because of which 10 tribes went against him. Now the people of Israel came to Rehoboam and asked, can you please decrease the tax? But he did not decrease. He eventually increased and doubled the taxes. So out of the 12 tribes of Israel, 10 tribes said, no, we don't want you as a king. You do not listen to us, so we don't want you as a king. So these 10 tribes separated from Rehoboam and they rebelled against Rehoboam. And hereafter began the process of division. Okay, so the 10 tribes rebelled against Rehoboam, and whom did they make their king? They made Jeroboam their king. And the remaining 2 tribes had Rehoboam as their king. So I hope you got the process. First of all, the power was with the people of Ephraim, with the tribe of Ephraim. The leadership was with the tribe of Ephraim. But from the time of David, the leadership shifted to the hands of Judah. So already the jealousy had begun between the tribe of Ephraim and Judah. So that was one of the reason. And second reason was, and one of the most important reason was, Rehoboam did not listen to the people. The people told him to reduce the tax, but he doubled the taxes. So he did not listen to the people. So that was the second and one of the most important reasons why the division of Israel happened. So because he did not listen to them, 10 of the tribes said, we don't want Rehoboam as our king because he does not listen to what we say. So we want Jeroboam as our king. Rehoboam was made the king of 2 tribes, that is his own tribe Judah and Benjamin were under the leadership of Rehoboam, and Jeroboam was made the king of the remaining 10 tribes. Here I have made a table for better understanding. Jeroboam and Rehoboam. So Rehoboam, who was he? He was the son of Solomon, and Jeroboam, he was the servant of Solomon. Rehoboam was from the tribe of Judah and Jeroboam was from the tribe of Ephraim. Rehoboam was made the king of 2 tribes, that is his own tribe, first of all Judah, and second Benjamin. So Judah and Benjamin were under the king Rehoboam, and the other 10 tribes out of the 12, 2 were under Rehoboam and the other 10 tribes were under Jeroboam. The kingdom of Rehoboam was called as the southern kingdom, the kingdom in the south, the southern kingdom, and the name of the kingdom of Rehoboam was Judah. Okay. The kingdom of Jeroboam was called the northern kingdom, and the name of his kingdom was Israel. Okay. So Israel was now divided into 2. Israel had 12 tribes. When Saul was ruling Israel, Israel had 12 tribes. When David was ruling Israel, Israel had 12 tribes. When Solomon was ruling Israel, Israel had 12 tribes. So Saul, David and Solomon, they all ruled Israel, and Israel had 12 tribes. But now because of this problem, Israel was divided into 2. 10 another side and 2 another side. So 2 tribes together were known as the southern kingdom, and the name of the kingdom was Judah. 10 tribes together were known as the northern kingdom, and the name of the kingdom was Israel. The capital of Judah was Jerusalem, and the capital of Israel was Samaria. 20 kings ruled Judah, including Rehoboam. Rehoboam was the first king of Judah, that is divided Israel. So first king of Judah was Rehoboam, and followed by 19 other kings. So together it was 20 kings in Judah. And 19 kings ruled Israel. So first king of Israel is Saul, but the first king of divided Israel was Jeroboam. Okay, so 19 kings. If you include Jeroboam, 19 kings. So after Jeroboam, 8 followed by the 18 kings which ruled Israel. So remember the number, 20 kings ruled Judah and 19 kings ruled Israel. What happened after the 20 and the 19? They were taken as captives. The kingdom was destroyed. We learned that ahead. So 20 kings ruled Judah and 19 kings ruled Israel. Now here it's a list of the kings, the number of kings. Judah is there and Israel is there. I have marked it as color code just for you to understand. The green color, I have written it down, bad kings. They were bad kings, as in they were not the kings who followed God. They did not follow the commandments of God. They did not walk in the ways of the Lord. Okay, so they were known as bad kings or cruel kings or corrupt kings. They were not kings in the sight of God. So the color green, those kings indicate bad kings. See, so please note, all the kings of Israel were corrupt. They were not God-fearing. They were not following the commands of God. They were not walking in the ways of the Lord. So all the kings of Israel were corrupt and they were bad, all the 19 kings. But Judah, we have 4 kings who were good kings. That is Asa, Jehoshaphat, Hezekiah and Joash. These 4 kings were good kings. That is in white color. And the one in the dark pink color, those were partial. They were good also and they were bad also. So they were kind of in middle. They were partial kings. So that is Joash, Amaziah, Uzziah and Jotham. These were the 4 good and bad. They were good also in the sight of God, but they committed some sins which was not acceptable to God. Okay, so these I have made it in color code. All the kings in green are bad, all the kings in white are good, and all the kings in dark pink were both good and bad. So you can take down Judah, Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, Jehoshaphat, Jehoram, Ahaziah, Athaliah. Athaliah was a queen. Joash, Amaziah, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah, Manasseh, Ammon, Joash, Jehoash, Jehoiakim, Jehoiakim, and Zedekiah. These were the kings of Judah. In Israel, Jeroboam, Nadab, Baasha, Elah, Zimri, Omri, Ahab, Ahaziah, Jeroham, Jehu, Jehoash, Joash, Jeroboam. This is Jeroboam 2. We already have Jeroboam as the first king of divided Israel. This on number 13 is Jeroboam 2. Then Zechariah, Shallum, Menahem, Pekah, Hoshea. That is 19 kings of Israel. Okay, so these are the names of the king of Judah and Israel. It is there in your textbook as well. The period of reign is also mentioned in your textbook, so you can refer that in your textbook. The end. Now, what happened after 20 kings reigned in Judah and 19 kings reigned in Israel? What happened after that? Why was there not a 21st king, or why was there not a 20th king in Israel? Because by that time the kingdom was completely destroyed. Israel was captured by Assyria. King of Assyria with his army captured Samaria, and Israelites were taken as exiles. So Israel, the kingdom was destroyed and all the people were taken as captives to Assyria. That is about Israel. Now about Judah, prophet Jeremiah prophesies to the people in Judah to turn their ways to God, or God will punish them for 70 years. But the people did not pay any attention to his words. So as a result, who captured Judah? It was Nebuchadnezzar. Yes, from Babylon. So Nebuchadnezzar captured Judah, burned the temple, destroyed the city walls, and took the people as exiles to Babylon. So after 19 kings came in Israel, the 20th king did not come because by that time who came? Yes, the Assyrians came and they captured Israel and took Israel as exiles and slaves to Assyria. And what happened after the 20th king in Judah? The king Nebuchadnezzar came and captured the people of Judah and took them as exiles to Babylon. So Israel was taken as exile to Assyria and Judah was taken as exile or slaves to Babylon. So that is the end of the chapter. Read the chapter properly, read the portion, Bible portion that is mentioned in the chapter properly for better understanding. Thank you. God bless you all.